यूँ तो LIC की शुरुआत भारत में 1956 से ही हो गई थी, लेकिन फिर भी कई सारे सीनियर एक्सपीरियंस इंश्योरेंस एजेंट को मैंने ये कहते सुना है कि उन्हें MDRT के बारे में 1990s के बाद में पता चला या 2000 में पता चला। आज मैं आपको एक ऐसे व्यक्ति से मिलाने वाला हूँ जिन्होंने अपनी MDRT 1981 में ही कर ली थी। मैं जानता हूँ हम में से कई सारे इंश्योरेंस एजेंट ऐसे हैं जो कि 1981 में पैदा भी नहीं हुए थे। एक और खासियत इस व्यक्ति में है, ये व्यक्ति इंडिया से नहीं है और ये व्यक्ति वर्ल्ड वाइड बहुत जाने माने ट्रेनर है और MDRT में भी इनकी कई सारी स्पीच हुई है। अब मैं आपका ज़्यादा समय न लेते हुए ज़्यादा सस्पेंस क्रिएट नहीं करता हूँ और आपको मिलाना चाहूँगा द वन एंड ओनली मिस्टर लोगान नायडू जी से। So Mr. Logan Naidu, I welcome you in the exclusive episode of BITV.
Well, it's my pleasure. My pleasure, Ranjit. Thank you so much.
One thing I want to tell you, Mr. Logan Naidu, this is the first time I am taking my interview in English.
Oh, really?
So this is our Hindi channel. Generally, we
well, I apologize that I cannot speak Hindi. I'm so sorry.
No problem. But I got an opportunity. And this interview is going to be the test of my English.
I think you speak very well. So
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So, but Mr. Logan Naidu, by seeing you, you look like Indian. But your passport says you are not Indian. You are from South Africa, am I right?
Correct. That is correct.
So which part of South Africa are you?
Well, I'm from Durban. That's along the east coast of the country, basically.
Okay. I know only 3% from South Africa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one person is Mr. Hansi Kronia.
Oh, okay. The infamous Hansi Kronia, yes.
And the second person is John T. Rood.
Of course.
And the third person is Mr. Logan.
Oh, that's amazing. So I'm honored to be in that list.
So when did how you landed to South Africa?
Well, Ranjit, that story goes back to 1884.
Okay.
A young 17-year-old man from Tamil Nadu, right, a town called Dindigul, decided that he was looking for an adventure, and he decided to become what they call an indentured laborer. So they were offering to transport people from India to South Africa that were prepared to work there. So he put his name forward. He was selected at age 17, boarded a ship called the Laurel in Madras. All right, took 36 days, reached South Africa. So he got there in 1884. And since he had a good knowledge of English and Tamil, he was employed as an assistant to an estate agent.
Okay.
So he worked there for a number of years, for 5 years. They wanted to renew his contract, and he said no, he did not renew his contract. Wise decision. Then moved to Johannesburg, worked at one of the big hotels there. Did really well. He even met the president of the country at that time.
Okay.
And he took a liking to him actually, and gave him a valuable gift, when he left the hotel. Subsequently accumulated a fair amount of gold coins. It was called Kruger Rands, enough to buy 14 acres of land in a place called Greenwood Park in Durban.
Okay.
Right. So, and then he got married and had children, opened a bit of a farming practice, etc. Tea room, general dealership, and so forth. So they settled in South Africa. He married another Indian that had come to South Africa. And my parents, my grandfather on my father's side also came from India, from Andhra Pradesh to Durban, settled in Durban. So they met, they married, and I was actually born in South Africa.
Okay.
My brother's sister and I were actually born, so we're second generation South African. Yes.
So in which year you born?
I was born in 1952.
1952 you born.
That's a long time ago.
Okay. So what education you did in Africa?
I went up to the high school standard, we call it standard 12 there. So went up to standard 12, and then I left work to, left my, schooling, finished off my schooling, and then started to work. Because the family finances were very low. We were relatively poor. We grew up in poor conditions. No lights, no sewage, no running, water, etc. So we basically grew up in that situation. I studied right up to my matric by candlelight. So as my elder two brothers had done, they'd left school after school, didn't pursue further studies. They had to work to supplement the family finances. So initially I didn't do any studies.
Acha.
It's only later on, after I joined the insurance industry and so forth, that there was a qualification that came about called the Institute of Life and Pension Advisors. It was a financial services body that was wanting to upskill financial advisors to the level of the CFP.
Okay.
So that was in 1981. So the first exams were going to be held in 1982.
Okay.
So I made a decision. I said, I'm going to write the first ever exams of ILPA. And so it happened that I passed all 4 subjects at the first sitting and became a fellow of the Institute of Life and Pension Advisors.
Super.
That later was converted to the CFP designation.
Correct.
So hence I'm a CFP, but that's how it started, way back at the first ever examinations in April 1982.
Super.
Then I did a BCom degree through University of South Africa by correspondence. That took me 4 years. And then I, studied for the Chartered Insurance Institute exams.
Oh, super.
Wrote the exams, passed the exams. I've always believed, Ranta, that it's so important to equip yourself properly, to study and learn more about the sector or the industry that you belong to. Hence all my studies. I just felt it was important to accumulate more knowledge and study and get to know the industry better.